Welcome back to another board game tier list, everybody. Today we are doing the War of the Ring character deck combat cards. And I think we'll actually include the factions in here as well. So I did consider putting this is the Shadow character deck. I did consider putting the strategy deck in here as well. But actually, I thought that there might be some interesting takeaways from this, where you know that if you can draw a card, you want to draw from this deck if you're looking for cards that will help you in combat for these specific things. So there's a whole lot of duplicates of most of these cards. If you're not familiar with War of the Ring, when you would play, every time there's a battle, you could play a combat card. The top of the text would be what you would normally play on your which you would resolve on your turn. The bottom of the card is the combat effect. So there's normally a prerequisite or a condition and then an effect underneath. There's also a number that just lets you know the lower number would resolve first, because your opponent would often play a combat card as well. So in this case, the 2 would go before the 6. So just to be clear, we are only focusing on the bottom part of these cards, so let's get to it. So I'm not reading the Balrog is come, we're doing Durin's Bane. S is best, F is worst. Here we go. Play if the defending army is within 2 regions of Moria or the Balrog is in the battle. Before the combat roll an additional attack using 3 combat dice. Score a hit of 4+ and apply the results immediately. I honestly don't know that I've ever used the bottom one. It is good though. It's not hard to get the Balrog into play. It's very specific where you have to be. 2 regions of Moria or the Balrog is in the battle. That's literally Lorien, I think. Okay, so this one doesn't actually have many options, but you can hit really easily. I think I'm going to leave it in C because it's not horrible. All right. Devilry of Orthanc. Play if the Isengard army unit is in the battle and the defending army is in a stronghold. Add 1 to all dice on your combat roll. So it's a very specific thing that you have to use it for, but that's very common. Essentially, this could happen either on Minas Tirith or Helm's Deep. I think we'll put this in A for now. Maybe we'll do some readjusting later. Battle in Vain. Play if the total Nazgul leadership is 1 or more, or forfeit up to 5 points of Nazgul leadership to reduce the Free People leadership by the same amount. I think that this is actually where it belongs. I think this is going to be B tier. Sometimes you have extra Nazgul leadership, which is why this might be good, but I don't love it. You know what? Honestly, also, I think I'm going to do the tier list like this so that you can actually see what it is. I think as the Shadow player, you don't necessarily want to be stopping your opponent from doing damage to you. You're more interested in doing damage to your opponent. At least that's my perception. Okay, Black Breath. Play if a Nazgul is in the battle. If your leadership reroll scores at least 1 hit, you may additionally eliminate 1 Free People leader participating in the battle. Alternatively, you can choose to eliminate a companion in the battle if the number of hits equals or exceeds the companion's level. That can be really good. And it's very, very easy to get. I mean, it's not too much of a swing, I guess, because if you're going to end up winning everything in the first place, the leader or companion would get eliminated. So, but it is helpful. And it could literally even kill Gandalf. So, A tier. They are terrible. Play if the total Nazgul leadership is 1 or more. Forfeit 1 point of Nazgul leadership to add 1 to all dice on your leader reroll. This one is probably S tier. Super easy to get, super small sacrifice, and you'll normally be hitting on either 4, 5s, or 6s, or just 5s and 6s, depending on where you're attacking. Okay. Words of Power. Play if the Nazgul is in the battle. Choose a companion. That companion leadership and special abilities are canceled for this combat round. My question has always been, can this cancel Gandalf? And I can't remember what his number is. But I do think this is really good. Yeah, I think that's really good. So super easy to get. That's going to be S tier. Foul Strength. Play if the Nazgul leadership is 1 or more. If the Nazgul leadership equals or exceeds the total Free People leadership, the Free People's leader reroll is canceled. All right, so this is so good as well. Considering that I gave yeah. No, I think I lost my train of thought. Yeah, that's just so good. I can't remember exactly what other cards did stuff similar to that. Fear of their masters. Play if the shadow minion is in the battle. Forfeit your entire leadership to add 2 to all dice in your combat rolls. Each unmodified 6 of the Free People's combat roll or leader reroll inflicts 1 additional hit on the shadow army. Alright, that is an interesting card. I don't know that I've actually ever used this one before. Not that it's not usable. It's very often that you'll have a shadow minion in the battle, considering the Witch King. That's painful. But essentially you could go from scoring hits on 6s to scoring hits on 4, 5s, and 6s. So I don't think that this one is my favorite, but I think I'm going to put it in A tier. Dread and Despair. Play if the total Nazgul leadership is 1 or more. Before the combat roll, forfeit 1 or more points from Nazgul leadership. During his combat roll, the Free People player rolls 1 less die to a minimum of 1 for every point you have chosen to forfeit. Yeah, this one is just ridiculously good. That's one that I use so often, and often it doesn't even hurt you that much because you'll have so many Nazgul or so many leaders in one spot that you can remove 3 or 4, whatever the required number is, to make your opponent only roll 1 die. So they're gonna do nothing, and you will still probably get 1 or 2 hits on them, hopefully. So, all right. Cruel as Death. Play if the total Nazgul leadership is 2 or more. Forfeit 2 points of Nazgul leadership to add 1 to all dice on your combat roll. I'm going to put this one in A. Hope I'm not running out of room there. I got 2 more left. Okay, Servants of the Shadow. Play if the shadow minion is in the battle. Before the combat roll, forfeit the leadership of a minion. During his combat roll, the free will player rolls 1 less die to a minimum of 1 for every point of leadership forfeited. So this just feels like that just feels like a worse Dread and Despair. It is actually helpful though, so I think we will put it in A. Sorry, hope I'm not running out of room there. Okay. Last one of these. 1 for the Dark Lord. Play if the defending army is in the same region as the Fellowship. Add 1 to all dice on your combat roll and leader reroll. This is F. So, disclaimer, the top of this card is really good, but the bottom of this card is horrible. That almost never happens, and I always get frustrated when I have that. So there we go. There's the characters. Let's just go ahead and do the call to battle cards for each of the factions. So let's do it. I think I'll go ahead and remove these. So first, that's where everybody is. Then I'll just remove these ones. All right, so let's go through these. The Dunlendings, Old Hatred. Play if there are Dunlendings in the same region as the Shadow Army, and the Shadow Army is not under siege. Before the combat roll a die for each of these Dunlending figures, which could be up to 3, hopefully. Eliminate 1 Dunlending figure on a result of 1, score a hit on a 6. If armed by Saruman is in play, Dunlendings add to the combat strength army this round. Cool. And then this one is the same prerequisite. Before you remove casualties, you may eliminate 1 or more of these Dunlending figures to cancel 1 hit for each figure you eliminate. Essentially, you can take them as casualties. And then the next part is the same as this. Both of these are helpful. Neither of them are 100% game-changing, but I guess it's better than not playing a card at all. So I guess that is where these will get rated a little bit higher, is that if I was to play They Are Terrible, I am losing out on Flocks of Crebain. Where these are cards that you just always have, and you can always use, assuming that the units are in the battle. So none of these are going to be F. Probably none of these are going to be C, because they are options, unless it's just literally a horrible option. All right, I think that Old Hatred is probably a B. It's not the best thing, it's not the worst thing. It can hurt you, it could help you. I think that's the bad thing about it, though, is that it could hurt you, and that's not good. Fierce Folk, I like. You can just kill the Dunlendings to stop your troops you actually want to keep alive from dying. And it can be even more powerful if you have a different card as well. So, all right, next, let's do the ships. Born Up on the Wind. Play if there are Corsairs in the same region as the Shadow Army, and the Shadow Army is not under siege. After casualties are applied, you may eliminate 1 of these Corsair figures to transport up to 2 Shadow units from adjacent regions to the region with the Shadow Army. Cool. And then the Last Stroke of Doom. Play if there are Corsairs. Essentially, it's the same requirement. Oh, no, it's not. Play if the Corsairs are in the same region as a Shadow Army, and the Shadow Army is attacking in a siege battle. At the end of the round, you may eliminate 1 of these Corsair figures to extend the battle for an additional round without reducing an elite figure or elite unit. This one is probably S. I can't remember what the stacking limit is for Corsairs, but my assumption is that it's 5. That would be logical. So if you are going, you moved all your people from Umbar, and now you are, what is that location called? It's Minas Tirith. Then there's one here. Is it Dol Amroth? I believe you'd be besieging Dol Amroth. You don't have a lot of elite units, but you can just destroy these figures to extend the battle and not have to use a ton of dice or a ton of resources. So this one is going to be S tier. It's one specific place that it would get used. I guess it could get used in Minas Tirith as well. But that's typically where I would expect it to be used. This one, I don't see this being really helpful. This doesn't actually do anything for you except move things, but if you don't have anything there, then this just doesn't do anything. So it's not F, but it'll be C. And then last, but maybe not least, Hideous Speed. Play if there are spiders in the same region as the Shadow Army. Before the combat roll 1 die on a result of 1 or 2, eliminate 1 of the spider figures. On a result of 5 or 6, eliminate a free people leader or a level 1 companion in the battle. If Huge and Horrible is in play, spiders add to the combat strength of the Shadow Army this round. Okay? Webs of Shadows, same prerequisite. If after the leader reroll, you scored more hits than your opponent, including hits from the free people pre-combat attack, free people pre-combat attack from a combat card or faction call to battle, you may eliminate one of these spider figures to score an additional hit. If Huge and Horrible is in play, they also count towards the combat strength. Okay, let's talk about this one first. This is another one that's very similar to Old Hatred, where it can be helpful, but it could also hurt you. I think I'll just slide this down so we have the space. And then Webs of Shadows. I don't love it, but it is... I think I'm just going to put that one in B as well. So I guess they are actually least. Yeah, so there's the tier list. Thanks for watching, everybody.